Good morning. So, this is Bite Me Podcast. I'm Cliff Johnson, and we're playing the Vanishing Ethan Carter. If you were hanging out last night, you will notice that you probably noticed that I got kind of, well, I don't want to say lost, but I kind of ran out of stuff to find, and so I went and poked around. A guide because I was a little bit confused as to where to go next, and I realized that apparently I've missed a ton of things, and that's kind of a bummer. So this morning we're gonna try and figure some of those things out. The first one's gonna be probably this place. So this apparently is not the Ethan Carter residence. This is what they call the witch's house or the crooked house. And what I had missed in trying to figure out the puzzle here. So you'll see we click these. Ooh, scary. And it opens these portals, and what that does is each one of these is actually apparently a choice. So you'll walk through here, and now what happened is you have to decide which of these rooms is really the correct next room. So is it more stairs, or is it this room, or is it this room? And so apparently that's the wrong choice. So, whoa. And you can mess up twice. And so let's see. Where am I? How do I get out of here now? So if it goes blue, you know you're right. And if it goes red, you know you're wrong. So that was also wrong. So apparently the next one I go through will take me back to the first. Yeah, so you can mess up twice. Okay, so I don't know if I'm going to have to write these down or what, but there's I think 11 of them. So that's gonna be hard. So this one, that's always all right. So are these always? Yeah. So I don't know the right way to tell. I don't know if there's any clue to which one is right. But apparently the way to figure it out. See, I'm thinking, no, see, that one's wrong. Like they some of them seem like they have a vague red tint to them. See, that was right. That was wrong. Okay, so apparently the way to do this in actuality is to come over to this house over here, which is actually the Ethan Carter house. Although I'm thinking, apparently I missed a bunch of the first two, so I'm gonna actually go back to the beginning and see if I can start. There's at least two scenes that I've missed over here, two kind of vignettes of stuff. So we'll get to the haunted house. That's going to require paper and writing down, which I don't have with me right now. So we'll come more prepared. Maybe we'll tackle that tonight. And we'll go this way for now. So apparently over here, I missed what the guide I referred to as the trap forest, something like that, and the spaceman. And so we're going to go check that out. Let's see what we can find. I don't know how. I mean, I guess I do know how, but the game opens with a, I don't want to say a warning, but it opens with a statement that this isn't a game that's going to hold your hand. And I honestly have kind of enjoyed that. Normally I'm actually like, no, game, please hold my hand. Give me the mini-map that shows me where to go. Give me the line path that shows me where the next thing is. Give me a quest marker that shows me where to go next. I'm kind of into that, but this game seems small enough and self-contained enough that I didn't need that. Like, I was able to, even when I didn't understand what I was doing, push forward and make decisions that I thought were correct. And even when I didn't know what I was doing, I was able to make progress. And when I finally figured out how, like, the investigations worked, I felt it was very, I don't know if empowering is the right word, but I felt really good about myself. I felt very, very like, wow, you figured something out, like, you're smart, and I was able to piece it together without having to have the game tell me what to do. And and then I was able to take that information and do other stuff with it. And I was able to solve more of these kind of murder tableaus and to kind of start piecing the story together. And then I kind of ran out of stuff to do, and I go and look at a guide and realize that, yeah, no, the game didn't hold my hand, but man, I don't know if it was doing me any favors to some degree, because I missed so much stuff. And I don't know exactly how much of that is my fault and how much of that is the game's fault. And like, maybe no, I'm not a game that pushes you in a direction, but it might be nice if at least it like gave you a hint when you miss stuff. Like, and what I'm gonna have to go look back at my first video, because this is apparently the forest with which I missed. But I think the game like starts you here, facing this direction, and I just never turned around. But apparently this trap forest is kind of where it would have explained how my psychic powers worked and how I can use them to find things and see things. And so it kind of feels like if the game had... Hello. If the game had... maybe not. Maybe I don't know what that does. If the game had held my hand a little bit more, in that it had pointed me in the right direction. If it had made me, instead of starting me, back on that bridge pointing the other direction, it had pointed me over to here, or had started me over here, so I had to walk through this, I might have had an easier time getting into the game, which is kind of a bummer. See, but the weird thing is I don't know if this is telling me anything different, honestly. Like, I know that there's 6 of these traps because the guide I looked at told me there were 6 of these traps, but I don't know. Let's go through this tunnel over here. Okay, so trap. Is that the light? That's literally the light at the end of the tunnel, isn't it? I really like everything about this game. I like the story. I like the spookiness of it. Am I still going forward? I don't think I am. Okay, so that tunnel is just... Am I stuck now? Okay, now I'm getting closer. I really like everything about this game, but it feels like if it felt empowering or if it felt exciting to find... Oh, see, I just got an achievement. The tunnel. If it felt empowering, if it felt exciting to figure out what I was doing before, it feels kind of crappy to have then figured out half the game, but not know... Man, someone did not want you in this forest. To not have known what to do once you've kind of found your way through that stuff. And I'll be honest, like I said, finding these traps doesn't... It doesn't, because it doesn't tell me how many there are, because it doesn't tell me what I'm looking for, because it doesn't give me any way to sense them, you know. All I can do is kind of hope to stumble upon them, I guess. And that maybe is a really good metaphor for how the rest of the game is. You just have to kind of hope to stumble upon stuff. Which is just strange in a video game. Like, usually they're so good at telling you what the next thing is, and it's over and over. This game has not been that way. It's been I never would have figured out how to solve the kind of paranormal murder puzzles if I hadn't just stumbled upon the rock that I did at the right time. And, you know, by the right time, I mean by the time I'd already explored almost everything and was literally about to go check out a guidebook. You know, I'd already been in the game for an hour and a half, 2 hours. Like I said, I know that there's another let's see, I found 3 traps, so I think there's another 3. But without some, you know, like, I'm a lousy psychic. You'd think I'd be able to, you know... I guess the thing is maybe what I'm looking for at this point is something like your Witcher senses. There's one. The Witcher senses in The Witcher 3, where you can, you know, hold a button and it'll at least guide you in the direction you need to go, as opposed to just saying, hey, go wander aimlessly through this forest and hope you find the things you need to find, which is not optimal, to be honest. I mean, I can look. I'm pretty sure there's no menu control for that, though. So I can invert my Y. So run, crouch, zoom, and interact. I mean, that's it. Left trigger just lets me look at things closer. So I mean, it really is just wander around in here. And I mean, I think the thing is this is dense forest. I mean, as pretty as it is, I mean, it is pretty. It's hard to know exactly if you've stepped in. I mean, when you have to get that close to a trap to trigger it, it's hard to know if you've been everywhere that you could have triggered a trap. Oof, say that 5 times fast. Which makes this process even a little more frustrating. Alright, maybe this is the last one. There we go. Oh, hello, dead people. There's a lot of dead people here. Alright, so what does this note say? Sap by Ethan Carter. An old man came to the forest every day to drink sap from the trees. To get there, the old man had to step around many dangerous traps. The villagers believed this old man to have hidden a jade amulet in the forest, but the old man wanted the villagers to believe this because then they would search the forest for treasures and not drink his sap. One cool fall night, someone set fire to the forest, and the fire spread to the village. The old man escaped the fire by covering himself in sap. When he returned to the village, he found all the villagers' bones. The old man sat down and cried, and then found more sap to drink. So that's Ethan Carter's.
Ethan, I told you, you can't be here.
But Gramp, I wrote something for you.
That's real nice. Thank you. Just leave it. I'll read it later.
Okay, so there's the first part that I missed. Let's read this. Fire damaged the historic home in Red Creek Valley Wednesday morning, according to officials from the Bayfield County Fire Department. A family of 6 was asleep when the blaze broke out at the remote house once owned by Albert Vandegrift by the Ogden Lake in Red Creek Valley. Gail Carter, 58, was pronounced dead at the scene. Remaining family members were able to escape. Carter's husband. So, where does it say Carter? Gail Carter, right. His husband, Edwin, 62, told investigators he may have fallen asleep with a lit cigarette in his hand. Firefighters were detached to the scene at 1:22 a.m. and remained at the scene until 5 a.m. They returned later to extinguish some other stuff. So, this is presumably Gail Carter and Edwin Carter, who I presume are my grandparents, who apparently burned to death. My grandpa apparently liked to come out here and drink a lot, is my guess. And I wrote him a story. And maybe he set those traps? I don't know. Okay, so now the next thing I'm looking for is what they called the Spaceman. I honestly don't remember which side of the bridge they said it was on. So I've looked over there a bunch, so I'm going to assume it's on this side. This is kind of another story. And so what I don't know is how much of what Ethan Carter writes in that story and how much he can see is real and how much of it is something that he can psychically sense. The reason I, as a kind of paranormal investigator, decided to come here was because I realized that Ethan Carter could see things that he should not be able to see. And I can also see things that I should not be able to see in the form of visions. And see, and I think that this astronaut thing maybe I've already missed it, because that's the train right there. So I wonder if I need to go back there. I don't know. I'm going to put it on hold for a second. I'm going to look because I don't want to. I've already spent so much time backtracking. I don't want to do that too much more. So I am going to hop over to here for a minute and we'll look. Okay, my bad. It appears that it's actually post train car murder. So we're looking for, once we get past these, you know, I believe Ethan's dead brother here, poor bastard, killed by, I believe, his grandfather. I need to take a left. And in this forest, we're looking for a pine cone, which will apparently turn into a grenade. Then we're also looking for a post with a screen on it. See, like, I don't know if I honestly ever came up this far. This game's got an interesting, like, open world feel mixed with kind of a not as open world feel, because you can, you get to places like this and obviously it looks like I should be able to squeeze back there, but I can't. Or through there, oh, okay, there's the pine cone. Go me. Look, it turned into a grenade. So I think I tend not to explore it as much as maybe I should have. Just because, like, it looks, you run into a couple places that look like you can't go through them, and you just stop looking at some point, I guess. Creepy, creaking trees. I don't like that. Maybe I'm just making excuses for why I didn't look close enough at things, too. I've never been over here. I guarantee I've never been over here. So, we'll figure it out. So what I'm looking for now is a post with some screens on it that then has something to do with a spaceman. So let's see if we can find that over here somewhere. All of a sudden this grass and stuff feels very, very tall. Like, like the scale's not wrong, but like all of a sudden things are very, like, I'm very short walking through this grass. So this spaceman post is supposed to be before I take the bridge across. So if we get there, we've gone too far. And apparently I have to chase the postman. What's that? Oh, it's just a rock. Look at, like right there, though, it looks like it's a dead something. Yeah, I just must have kind of skipped by this entire side over here. Because I don't remember, so I don't think it's this. This is a giant post thing, but it doesn't have, there's no screens, there's no ability for me to interact with it, I don't believe. So I don't think it's that. More train cars. So let's head back here a little bit. Maybe this is where it is. No, I don't think so. This just kind of dead ends. See, it's dead ends like that. There's just enough dead ends in this game that it doesn't do a terrific job of funneling you to where it wants you to go. And in fact, I think by adding those dead ends makes you less likely to explore. It's no fun walking down a bunch of things you can't get through, and then to find the one that you can. Yeah, I didn't come down here at all either before, I don't think. So here's the bridge across. So I must have missed this post that they're talking about. Let's see what it says. Walk up to the rail cars and take a left. Find a fir cone. Then you should find a post with 4 screens. I sure did not find a post with 4 screens. Unless it's talking about that big tall thing, but I didn't see any screens there either. So this may take a video walkthrough instead of a reading walkthrough. So, I mean, there's some train cars. I mean, this is definitely... I just am not getting a prompt to do anything here. Like, this is, I presume, what they mean. I mean, it's the only post I've seen here. But I can't, whatever it is, I can't get it to trigger like they expect that I ought to be able, I guess. I'd be real bummed if I find out like this is a PC only part of this game, and I'm trying to get something to trigger that is not in this part of the game. That's gotta be it, right? It says a hand should come up, but I'm sure not getting a hand to come up. Let's see. Ethan Carter, Spaceman. Alright, here we go. Here's a video. Okay, so there is this post. Where are they seeing it? God, this video is dark. They're just walking through the forest. Man, that is very small. Okay, so they... looks like they were walking up to those train cars. And then just hoof it off into the forest. Pretty straight, though. And then they see it. Alright, so the thing I'm wondering, though, is that... I wonder if it was back behind those other train cars, because they kind of saw a... So I think there's another set of train cars back here. It looked like they saw a... what looked like an electrical post. Yeah, I wonder if it's these ones back here. Yeah, it's definitely back here. So it's not that big tall post. It's literally this teeny thing out in the wilderness. It should be right. Let's see. They came up like here. There it is. I mean, good lord. Like, when you see it, like, first of all, it's completely out of place. So, nope. So 1, 4, 2, 3. Alright, so we're chasing the spaceman. Where'd he go? Up here? There he is. I think it's unfair of me to chase something that can disappear. So here we are. Now we're running back through all the things that we ran through. Alright, what does it take to catch this bastard? Oh, noes. See, this game's a lot weirder. Extraterrestrial containment capsule. A lot weirder. When you find the strange traps and you find this, I mean, what the hell? I don't even understand how this fits into the game. I'm very confused. I mean, I'm glad we figured it out. I'm glad I went back. Like, this was the perfect way to use this morning's playthrough. Kind of, you know, wrapping up some stuff that I missed. I mean, it's real pretty. It's real pretty. But I don't get it. Oh, there's a note. Let's see. We're going to go text on this one. Fangs. The beast had fangs, but was heavy and slow, so when it saw the light in the sky, it waited, thinking the light would go out like the others before it. When it did not, the beast rose up on its legs and went to the place where the fire was still burning. As the orange light died, another took its place. This one was blue, a bright and pure blue that the creature had only seen along the edges of the stars. The beast showed its fangs, and the light vanished. A moment later, the light appeared again between two distant trees. The beast wanted to go home, but could not ignore the light, so it chased it deeper into the forest. Okay. Oh, shoot. I want to...
Get out of
Crap,
my
I think
room,
there was a
Travis.
back to that.
Stories. Always with the stories.
Get out!
I read the Fangs one. I liked the Beast. At least he gets to leave this goddamn place.
Okay, can I read the back of it now? Chased it deep into the forest. When the light stopped, it did... Let's see, I wonder if I can go text on this one. Yeah. The beast had fangs, so it chased it deeper into the forest. I don't know how to get to the next page. That's really strange. There's no way, as far as I can tell, to get to the next page. Okay, so pick this up again. When the light stopped, it did something in a clearing. It did so in a clearing of trees. The beast entered the circle, feeling no fear. The trees turned towards the beast, pointing at it like needles, but the tops of the trees lowered and dug into the ground. The trunks and roots were raised into the air and closed around the beast like walls. As the ground disappeared, the beast realized it would never use its fangs again. So, let's see. Absolute Tales. So that's where the aliens came from. So where am I now? So I guess this is maybe a little place that Ethan used to hang out at. So, whew. All right, it's been a weird morning. You know, first trap forest, and then getting abducted by like aliens. But it's what I'm having a hard time understanding this game is. So, I mean, there are obviously bad things here. There are scary things. There are things that have killed me. So I know to some degree those things are real. What I can't figure out is how much of what I'm seeing in his stories and how much I'm seeing in these books and stuff are real. So I can't tell if, Ethan and I share some sort of psychic connection so I can see things that he saw as true. I can't decide if I can see things that other people can't. I just don't know. So we're going to knock off for now. It's time for me to go to work. But we'll continue Ethan Carter tonight, and we'll see if we can to make some more headway. Maybe I'll bring some paper, and we'll figure out the witch's house, and we'll go from there. Until then, you can actually... I do a podcast today with Adam West and Dylan Hubbard, two fine folks that I work with. Talk about some video games. That will be recorded live today at 3 on Mixer, if you want to check that out. 3:30. Yeah, we're a little flexible. It kind of depends on what we get going, how our work days work out. But we'll record live, and then I'll be back tonight at probably about 10 p.m. Pacific time. All times are Pacific time because I live in the lovely land of Seattle. Until then, you can find us at bitemepodcast.com. You can find us on Facebook at Facebook/bitemepodcast, Twitter at bitemepodcast. And thanks for watching. Really appreciate it. Couldn't do this without everyone who shows up and talks to us and hangs out at all the places that we exist online. So thanks for that, and I will be back soon.